Hi everyone, it is Dr. Lynch. I just walked in the door here for our exercise physiology lab, and since I'm not sure how many of you have been here before, just want to take you on a little bit of a tour. I'm just using my iPad, so this is clearly not flashy camera work, but the following weeks every lab will be filmed by media services, and that'll be pretty nice. So the purpose of this initial lab, it's called Calculations, Calibrations, and Graphing. But first, just because you're not sitting in the lab, I want to show you what we have. This desk is for Michaela. That's where our TA works. And then we have a treadmill in between. This is called the metabolic cart. See that syringe there on the second shelf? It looks like a giant syringe. It's actually sometimes called a tank. So that would be what we use to calibrate the machine. And I'll show you that as part of a video for the other labs when we actually are calibrating the metabolic cart. Then what looks like a white fire extinguisher on the side, that actually is the gas tank for, again, use with the metabolic cart. So the chart there, red, yellow, and green, we'll use that in upcoming labs, and it's the rating of perceived exertion scale. Let's come on over, show you that. So when we do a maximal exercise test, one of the tasks is to have somebody, usually in lab, will hold up this paper and ask the person who's doing the test, either on the bike or on the treadmill, how do you feel on a scale of 6 to 20? And so you can see the descriptions here. And it might sound really simplistic, but it's actually been validated and is quite accurate. And the reason that it goes from 6 to 20 is because it roughly correlates to add a 0 and somebody's heart rate. So if they say like, it feels about an 11, it should, if they have a good sense of their work effort, their heart rate might be around 110 beats per minute. Right. Other thing here, see that the display here? This shows the temperature, the barometric pressure, the humidity, all of the lab conditions for right here, right now. When we calibrate the cart, which is, the computer's not turned on, but when we calibrate it, we have to enter the data exactly as it is there for it to be accurate. Also, see the sheet here next to the RPE chart? That white printout, it stays in the lab, and it's the step-by-step instructions about how to calibrate the metabolic cart, just in case anyone forgets. All right. So sometimes in lab, we'll have a couple of people exercising at the same time. We have the 2 treadmills coming a little bit farther over. We have a second metabolic cart. Same exact thing. So the RPE scale, the directions, it has its own display, which will be similar numbers. Sometimes they're off just a smidgen from each other. Then we have a couple of those big tubes for the calibration part. The white binder is the manual about how to use everything. Now for the bikes. We have a few different types of bikes. See on the side here, it says the Load, L-O-D-E bike. That's the brand. Very common one for exercise physiology. If you're reading in the literature, you'll see that one quite often. And then this one, you can see the display screen is down here. Pretty sure we're going to use this bike for some of our exercise testing later in the semester. And here's pretty much the same thing. I think it's a different year, but it's the same company. Back there is where we have our laundry. Just like for you guys in real life, we have to do laundry in the lab. And then this one is our Monarch bike. Hopefully you're not getting dizzy yet. So there's the name, another very commonly used one. This is the bike that we're going to use for Lab 3 when Sean does the Wingate test. It has a special software that we need to use for that so we can see the power that he's going to be putting out while he's pedaling the bike here. And display screen up there. All right, so those are the 3 bikes the 2 treadmills. Here's a look all the way down the line of what we have. And there against the wall, 2 other things I should point out. The Lab1, it's essentially a chart against the wall that you can use for recording height. And then the scale there, it's called a stadiometer with a scale because, let me actually walk over there, get you a little bit closer. And that's the bike sticking out. All right. This part folds up. So for measuring somebody's height. And then we have the scale. Not sure if you still have, this is what was at the doctor's office like when I was growing up, where it balances approximately in the middle at 0, and then you slide over the weights for taking someone's weight. A lot of what we do in lab is based on body weight. So coming back to where we came from, just kind of a heads up, the purpose for that, a couple of reasons. It's hard to compare, let's say, a 250-pound guy with a 100-pound female. If we were simply to look at oxygen uptake or power output on the bike, clearly there should be expected differences based on the size of someone's body. But if we normalize something to body weight, we can say how many watts per kilogram of body weight, how many watts or how many milliliters of oxygen were consumed per kilogram of body weight. So that's the reason we deal with body weight for our lab. We don't deal with body comp, that is body fat percent for anything, just body weight. Last thing for the tour here, these 2 containers usually will have cleaning solution. We haven't really done anything in the lab this summer, so they're empty right now. But the things that will go in there are these things. So this blue, this is a face mask. There's for the nose to go over the face. Face masks for when the person is doing doing any exercise test where we're measuring oxygen uptake, either submaximal or maximal. The red part in the back there, those are the head straps. And when we assemble this, I think the first time we'll use it will be week 4. I'll show a video to you of Bryce Bryce was the TA last year. I'll show you a video of Michaela assembling this. Here are some other pieces that we use for setting up the metabolic cart. And then the watches are for heart rate monitors. Gloves, especially for the lab where we do a finger prick to test lactate. And then all these little parts and pieces either go for the face piece for the metabolic cart testing, or they go like for the metabolic cart itself. And then these big tubes here hanging up against the wall, those are what's going to be collecting the air being breathed out by the participant so that we can be measuring it. All right. So that's it for the lab tour here. I know the first week is probably, unless you love numbers like I do, it might be one of the less exciting labs because we're not doing actually an exercise test, but it's critically important to be able to get these terms down. So I strongly encourage you not just to get through it, but please do try to learn the terms. It's going to be important throughout your journey in exercise physiology. So it's the lab that we have to get through to do more fun stuff for the upcoming weeks. Talk to you later. Bye.